One. We're live for another episode of Token Narratives. This is episode 86. I'm joined by David Sensel. We are
What's
going
going
to be
on?
going through what's up. We're going to be going through our predictions from 2025. Did we actually get anything right? And we're going to be making 2026 predictions. Excited for this, David. It's been a crazy year. It was a crazy year. I'm sure we're going to have another crazy year ahead of us. Let's talk about some of our predictions from 2025, starting off with a prediction around Bitcoin L2s, right? So we basically all were pretty confident that Bitcoin L2s would disappoint. We didn't think. I don't, at the start of last year, there was still kind of a lot of hype around. Finally, Bitcoin L2s are going to
Well, it
have their
was
year.
I think it was a holdover from 2024. You remember 2024?
Yeah,
There was like mega hype, especially in the
yeah,
second half of 2024. A lot of the conferences, all the conferences I went to in the second half of 2024, everybody was talking about Bitcoin L2s. There seemed to be like dozens of them. I think I even took
yeah.
pictures of them. You and I took pictures of them, just like the word salads, like
That's right.
indecipherable, right?
And so we pretty much faded that trend, and I think we were proven correct. I was doing some research this morning. I don't follow the Bitcoin L2 space that closely, David, but did some research this morning. So let me see what I got here. Basically, okay. Well, there's the Lightning Network, right? The most famous Bitcoin L2, arguably not really an L2, but anyway, Bitcoin Lightning didn't have a banner year. Not really. Uh, the capacity of the Bitcoin Lightning Network did reach an all-time high, but it was actually down for most of the year, and it just barely cracked its all-time high at the end of the year. So and we're talking about 5,350 Bitcoin is the capacity of the Lightning Network,
Which
up
is
about 250 Bitcoin on the year, right? So
which is
very
nothing though,
marginal,
right?
which is nothing. Exactly.
Because
That's the whole point.
the
Yeah,
capacity is misleading, right? Like if you know the technology, that just means what the whole network can do. But on any given like what's it called, uh, two-way connection, it's going to be a much smaller amount of that, right? Like it's going to be
yeah.
less than 10%, I imagine.
Okay, and exactly. And so anyway, the capacity, it's a metric, and it didn't massively increase. I mean, okay, Lightning Network though did. So one stat that was interesting, dug up for me by the machine, which is that 15% of Coinbase's BTC transaction volume supposedly is now powered by Lightning. So that's kind of some level of adoption there. Then you have, I don't know if you remember this one, David, the Square announcement mid-year. Square announced that they'd be enabling their sellers to use, to accept Bitcoin via the Lightning Network. So that actually did happen in 2025. It didn't really roll out though till November. It hasn't still hasn't rolled out globally. So let's see if that actually gets adopted. But there is some, you know, what would you call it? Corporate level adoption of Lightning payments. So that's one piece of the Bitcoin L2 story. Then there's Stacks. So Stacks is one of the bigger Bitcoin L2s. Transactions did double over the year. However, the number of active addresses actually dropped. So yeah, Stacks hasn't seen a huge amount of adoption. Similar story with Rootstock, and in both cases, like the TVL, the total value locked on those networks, we're talking like low 100 millions. So even by comparison to like a tier two EVM chain like Sui or Sonic, formerly Phantom, those are above a billion. Those are north of a billion. So the
Tier
Bitcoin.
2, shots fired.
Exactly. So this data, by the way, is from Masari's State of X reports. They put out a ton of these. They're awesome. So shout out to Masari. Another one is BitVM. So this is like it stopped being pure vaporware in 2025. They did launch the bridge mainnet in July. Looks to have north of 100 million TVL. So again, not huge. Definitely, I think we're correct in saying that Bitcoin L2s would disappoint. They haven't died, but they haven't like taken off.
Yeah. So a couple things on this. I would the only thing I would really amend is, so I think we were 100% right in terms of like, um it wasn't going to grow in narrative importance nor in like attention or probably capital formation or anything like that. Um so we definitely hit that, but at the end of the year we did talk to one Bitcoin L2 person, and I actually was surprised by what he said, which was last year they were, so 1 year ago they were kind of looking for investors. So this is like 20 end of 2024. They were looking for investors, people to invest into their Bitcoin L2. This year they weren't doing that at all. They were kind of turning people away, and it was all about them reaching out to partners looking for yield. And kind of the calm way he was talking, and he seemed like much more relaxed this year. Which is like, yeah, we have all this money, we got all this investment, and now we have a ton of Bitcoin, and we have that kind of the happy problem of finding people that we trust to find projects that we trust to then seek yield on the Bitcoin. So, in that sense, I think that that seems healthy to me, right? Like, so maybe the L2s are going to kind of consolidate, and they're just kind of operating um, under the radar because it's not kind of sexy and they're not seeking investment. However, do you remember when we talked with Hasib from the chopping block, Dragonfly Capital? I think it was at WebEx. I believe you asked him about Bitcoin investment. You remember that?
Uh huh.
And he said the Bitcoin L2 space is not interesting to him whatsoever, because there's too many players, it's too many projects, and he said it won't become interesting to him until there's kind of major consolidation or a very very clear winner. And so I think that that's stuck with me ever since then, and I don't think we're going to see any change in this until that happens, because people like Hasib are not going to really start putting in a lot of new capital and supporting new projects until it seems like there's a clear winner or like a clear path to um, kind of dominance for applications. So
All right. Okay, so moving on to another prediction we made around Bitcoin privacy. So Corbin predicted that private Bitcoin. He said private Bitcoin is inevitable. He said like there's going to be launching sort of private privacy chains that enable Bitcoin to be bridged into private environments. That did happen. The Yeah, like there's a wrapped version of Bitcoin on Zano, that enables private Bitcoin, and there's things like I mean these solutions do exist, but it's very niche at this point. And I think the real thing that was maybe directionally correct with this prediction was that as we saw, like privacy just actually finally became a big narrative with the explosion of Zcash and zk sync privacy tech and all that happened towards the end of the year. So kind of directionally correct there on that. Just maybe like privacy on Bitcoin itself did not really actually happen.
yeah, I I, I agree that the idea that privacy was important. He nailed that, but I would say it's about 50-50 because Bitcoin privacy, I don't think really is a thing, and I don't think it will be personally. So,
Yeah. Technically, there are some solutions emerging, but yeah, I know. Actually, looking through what we said last year, David, you said that specifically, you said that governments will fight private BTC extremely hard and crush it if it actually does start to emerge.
yeah. Also, I don't think institutions, it's like that becomes a negative. Do you remember like not to get derailed here, but like about a month or two ago, Nick Carter was talking about privacy on Bitcoin, and he said that he went down this rabbit hole, uh, 2015, 2016, and he came away with the idea that um, a private coin, whether it's Bitcoin or Zcash or whatever, will never, ever, ever, ever have the same um, market cap, liquidity that a completely transparent um, coin will have because of the threat of hacks, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
and so
And
he in
the
his
threat of an
estimation, yeah,
inflation bug, you wouldn't
yeah,
know that there's an inflation bug, right? So
yes,
you wouldn't be able to verify like the supply exactly. So uh,
it
maybe there's
convinced
a
me.
solution to that in the future, but I do buy that argument right now, at least.
But the thing is, it's not even that you could say maybe there's a solution. Let's say there is mathematically a solution. It's still not. It's still there's still a risk that it could go undetected or go undetected for a certain amount of time, just because of the
Yeah.
nature of privacy. So it's just for like sovereign wealth funds or governments or institutions. They're just not going to tolerate even a minuscule amount of risk in that. They want something completely transparent that everyone can see,
Yeah.
and you can have all the eyeballs on it. So I
For
don't know.
yeah, for their digital gold
Yeah,
product right now.
yeah.
For another product like a, I don't know, some kind of medium of exchange, perhaps. Yeah, privacy is more needed, but that's sort of serving a different use case. So moving on, another prediction that we made was around Bitcoin ETFs. I said Bitcoin ETF assets under management would hit $300 billion by the end of 2025. That did not happen. Um, at the start of 2025, it was around 110 billion. Now it's at about 120 billion, and the high watermark was 170 billion. Now, of course, this is influenced by the price of Bitcoin itself. I have got a prediction for this. We'll talk about it later in the episode. But anyway, I was wrong on that. Too optimistic. And
Yeah,
yeah, according to the AI summary, at least, you did agree with my thesis.
I agree with the
So
thesis. I believe, but I didn't specify an AUM or anything like that. I don't think I
okay,
did. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But I think if you look, like you said, this is based on the price. But in terms of just the number of Bitcoin, right? Like it's been up only, right? From start of
yeah,
the year to
yeah,
end of the year, and so maybe that's a better metric.
up,
Like,
but not massively up. So
yeah, yeah, okay, but I think that's probably a better metric than like dollar AUM because that's basically a beta of a price prediction, right?
well,
It
I
is.
think both are it's true, but both are important because people don't invest in ETFs or Bitcoin in general by the amount, the number of Bitcoin. They think of it in dollar amounts.
Yeah, I mean, but I think though then just a cleaner way of making that prediction is just saying like, what is the price of Bitcoin, right? Because that's kind of what you're doing if you're saying
Okay.
AUM, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Fair enough. All right. Moving on. Our worst prediction, I think, was around
oh
the
God,
AI and crypto, the AI agents.
terrible.
I for one, was fully enraptured by the hype, the AI X crypto hype at the end of 2024. I got wrecked in all my investments there, and we made predictions, ridiculous predictions, like. David, you said, quote, "This is the DeFi summer of our cycle." Uh,
Yeah.
and
To be
yeah,
fair,
we were, yeah, go ahead.
it
I mean, we were
it
saying that
probably
basically these
was
a yeah, yeah,
2025
yeah.
crap year.
We yeah, we were saying that AI agents would be like crypto AI agents would be doing everything, like doing all your trading for you. I said it's going to break governments' heads. Basically, they're going to like there's going to be like businesses run like AI agents running businesses using crypto as the rails, and like governments are going to be trying to like tax AI entities and things like that. None of that happened. it all just turned out to be kind of a flash in the pan, an annoying, actually persistently annoying thing on X.
Really annoying.
All
Really, really
the
annoying.
AI agents, just like, I don't know what they're doing, but just making generic comments on every post and kind of just destroying like, yeah, the discourse on
Not only
X.
that,
So hopefully,
the images, I hate AI
yeah,
images now. I can't stand them.
yeah, they look
They're
gross.
so
They
damn
look
annoying.
yeah, exactly.
And the AI writing slop, like when you're reading an article or anything more than a paragraph, and you're like, "Oh God, this is AI." Ugh. It's just
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of we both have a lot of pet peeves around that, or like
AI fatigue,
tells
bro.
where it's not it's anyway, I don't know. There's and then, people hate the M dashes. I hate the use of bold. The
Oh, right.
anyway.
I hate. I mean, we've talked about this internally, but I hate the bullet points, the bullet
Bullet
pointification
points.
of
Yes, yes, yes.
everything. And you see
Yeah,
this on
yes.
like internal communications. It's like, all right, team, this is what we're gonna do, and then it's like 10 bullet points. It's like, I know what you did there, buddy. I know exactly what you did.
All right, so moving on, around, we made some predictions around sort of geopolitics, U.S. policy. Uh, David, you correctly predicted that crypto would boom in the U.S. under Trump. You said the U.S. would become the number one crypto innovation hub thanks to clearer regulation. You said miners would thrive. You said New York City would have a resurgence. Not sure if that actually happened. And you said the Vegas Bitcoin conference becomes massive. You went there, David, last year. Was it?
It
Was
was
it massive?
huge. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was really. It was. Let me think. For me personally, it was probably Um, it was the most impressive conference I went to, probably. Like Token 2049 had more glitz and whatever, all that glamour crap. But that's kind of, I felt it was kind of gaudy, like it's crazily gaudy. But gaudy. But when you went to the Vegas concert, I talked about this already a ton. When you just saw like these giant, actual steel, huge pieces of mining equipment, and it wasn't just one. There was like 5 or 6 of them, and they were just huge, physically imposing. That was one of the coolest things I've seen. Maybe one of, yeah, maybe the coolest thing I've seen at any conference in the past 2 years. And it really, like I said at the time, and I've said since, is it just like gave you the it really conveyed like how kind of the money behind all this, right? Like just
Yeah.
all this infrastructure, physical equipment, capex.
Yeah, it's cool. All right, so moving on. NFTs, David, you predicted NFTs would
Oosh.
rebound strongly in 2025. That did not happen.
No.
NFTs are
I will
dead
I will say
forever.
this. I'll say this though. Part of that was that NFTs would do well compared to meme coins. I would actually claim that that's true. Meme coins, if you were to track like meme coins versus NFT, if there's like a meme coin NFT chart, um, this is to say
Yeah,
that
they're both down bad, but one might
meme
be
coins
down
way
slightly
down
less
worse,
bad.
way
Really?
worse.
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
meme coins got like absolutely decimated this
Well,
year
yeah,
from
that's
a
another
high
pet
point.
peeve of mine, by the way, David. Decimated. That only means 10%. You only lost 10%. That's what decimated means. Do you know
Word sell loser over here.
that?
Don't word sell me, old man.
All right. So we also made some price predictions for Bitcoin. I said it would hit 195 and as low as 89. You said 175 as low as 80. Corbin predicted one high of 150, low of 70 to 80. So Corbin was the closest. The actual number was 124 and a low of 76 on the years. So Corbin
126.
actually,
126.
okay. Corbin was pretty close there. ETH, I said it would hit as high as 8K, as low as 3 to 4. David, you said 7 and as low as 2.8. Corbin 7 to 3. The actual number was just under 5,000, and it dropped as low as 1410. So we were all wrong on. So we were in general we were too bullish for the year,
Way too
especially
bullish.
on Solana, which is the other one that we predicted. I said it'd go as high as $1,000, and it would end the year as at 400. And David, you said it would also go hit 1,000, may go down as low as 250. And Corbin was kind of was closer, at least on the low. He did say it would reach 800, and that the low would be less than 100, and the actual low was $95, and the high for Solana for the year was just under 300. So yeah, of course, Solana pumped massively right after Trump Coin launched, and then
in
Corbin said
January.
this in our episode as well, that the reason Solana will like drop below 100 is because yeah, the Solana users are transient, and that proved right.
Well, I would caveat that I think the Solana users were made transient by insanely extractive meme coin uh, games where you had like basically these like cartels and pumped out fund style things where they just took the money and there was no return. Everyone just got rinsed, and then that's it. You have no more money. Get out. So, um, to me, that was the story of Solana this year. Basically, was
Yeah,
mass extraction, mass
yeah,
extraction, which you didn't see necessarily in like the more prolonged markets, bull
yeah. I
markets in the
actually
past.
have a similar prediction for 20, because we're moving into our 2026 predictions now. I actually think that a similar thing is going to happen with prediction markets. They're going to become like meme coins, like an insider game, like people with I don't know, like you've seen it now, like there's all these script people posting their scripts for like how they're like automating their like prediction market trades with I don't know, like sentiment analysis and getting in really quick. And it doesn't I guess the surface attack area isn't as great as for prediction markets perhaps as it is for meme coins, but I do think that a lot of the the sheen of oh, you can make money on prediction markets will wear off as the professionals dominate it, become to dominate it, and like retail sort of gets rinsed.
Yeah, but I mean, the biggest difference here though is you can't scam prediction markets
Well, that's what I'm
like you
saying. Yeah,
like you can
not
with
in the
meme
same way that
coins.
you can with a meme coin.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
not even close, right? Like these people make the meme coin, and with the
yeah.
full knowledge that they're gonna
But I do
remove
think that
liquidity.
like the hopes and dreams of prediction markets traders will will fade as they realize that they don't really have any edge.
Yeah, of course. They have edge now, but the edge is like going to be gone in weeks. Here's how I
Yeah,
know. I'm not going to name the person, but over over the New Year's holiday, oh, on New Year's Eve, I was talking with a friend, an acquaintance, whatever. I was like, "Oh, what are you doing right now?" And they're like, "Oh, yeah, I'm using Claude Code to write a prediction market bot."
yeah,
And
exactly.
that to me is like that's probably a
Everybody's doing
sign
that.
that well, that's a sign that that thing is done. That game is now closed, closed for business. But
Yeah, because I'm assuming this person that you know, they're not necessarily at the bleeding edge.
oh, of course not. No. Definitely not. No one I know is like that, unfortunately. Um,
Okay.
you and me included. So
Yeah, no, exactly. That's how I know it's over. If I'm seeing like copy paste scripts for how to like extract money from prediction markets on my feed, I know that it's not actually going to work once I get around to doing it.
yeah, exactly. So I
Yeah.
mean, but I still think though that I still think that prediction markets will probably have a really good year, especially with the midterms coming up and all that kind of stuff. It's just uh, anyway, we can get into this later, but yeah,
Well, yeah, I think they'll have a good year. I think there'll be some scandals around them that I'm not sure if it'll lead to anyone going to jail. Probably, yeah. I would say people will go to jail over prediction market scandals in
yeah,
2026.
but
Uh,
that's that's to be expected, and I don't think that I don't. Here's
yeah,
the thing: I don't think these will be like
that's not going to take down the prediction markets.
yeah,
It's going to
these aren't
just it's going to mean yeah the someone, for example, the Venezuela thing, right?
yes, yes,
If somebody if investigators find out that guy like who put $30,000 on the Maduro attack or the Maduro extraction hours before it actually happened and made $400,000. If they figure out who that was, that guy is going to jail.
I have
I
a
think.
stronger prediction than that. I think that they already know who the guy is, and the guy will go
Uh,
to jail or is already
yeah.
there secretly. There's
Okay.
that's
Exactly.
that's
Exactly.
but the thing is, I mean, you can, like we talked about last or in the weekly, that has nothing to do with the market itself. Those are just like participants who are acting in self-interest and maybe breaking lots of laws, making a lot of people
Yeah.
upset. So the it'll be bad if you get things like, you remember OpenSea? I think it was last year or the year before, where um, someone who was working for OpenSea was what were they doing? They were posting NFTs somehow. It was like some insider trading thing. It was like someone who
Yeah.
and then they got fired, and I think maybe the SEC went after them or something like that. Something like that is bad. Or there was that person from Coinbase as well who was doing something like that for meme coins, right? They knew that they were going to list certain meme coins, right? And so then they were
Yeah.
buying. That would be a negative on the prediction market, but I don't think anything like that's going to happen, like major like that, from people working at prediction markets, just because of the way the business model works. I don't know how you would be an insider and
Yeah.
scam it, right? Because it's all
Yeah.
like
Similar to, yeah,
transparent.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So they're more immune to that kind of insider, like platform level insider trading.
Well, because
Um,
they would have to
yeah.
know the future, right?
Yeah.
So they'd
Exactly.
have to know what's going on.
Like they don't have any special edge just by virtue of working at Polymarket.
No, no, they don't. I don't think.
Um, well, I guess the one issue though is the way the markets resolve. There might be
Well, no, I
some
would say
edge
the
there.
opposite. The opposite would be like Polymarket. They're the ones who instantiate the markets, right? So
Hmm.
potentially there's some kind of like programmatic slight alpha generation thing where you instantiate a market and then you instantly put in liquidity on
Oh,
a certain
you get in. You get in before the market figures out what the correct odds are or something.
yeah,
You
yeah,
get
yeah,
in at a
yeah.
better rate.
You get it, but it would be a very, you'd have to be pretty smart, and it wouldn't be like a big take, because it's still a prediction market. You don't know what's going to happen, but you might be able to get like what, like a 1 to 5% edge, right?
Okay.
Across all markets, you know. Um,
Yeah.
so anyway, that could be
All right.
something, but
What?
no, no, just but that's not like what we're talking about, like big flashy,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. I've turned $300 into 400,000 kind of thing.
Okay, I want to move on. So one of my big predictions for 2026 is that the quantum FUD will fade. Um, in the last quarter of 2025, quantum FUD ramped up. It's like all over the timeline the last month or so, 2 months. I think it's going to fade. I think people will mostly just forget about the so-called quantum risk. Now, I came to this conclusion mostly after I listened to a lot of several podcasts about the quantum FUD on Bitcoin. Obviously, I'm not an expert on it, but the one that tipped it for me was the Gwart show, and he had this guy Reardon. That's not his real name; it's like his online name. Anyway, this guy basically he I don't know, it made it click for me. The guy thinks that yeah, basically the quantum is theoretically real, but the evidence doesn't show practical scaling toward breaking modern cryptography. So like yeah, I mean, I don't really know what I'm talking about, but this, according to this guy, right, the real bottleneck is logical qubits and error correction. And he's saying that until we can see real world breakthroughs there, it's just like kind of narrative noise. And then even if they do, like, so basically he's saying they're not like, yeah, they may have improved the number of, or they're growing maybe exponentially the number of logical qubits or the number of physical qubits, but they're not actually improving the logical qubits rate, and so it's not scaling like people are sort of saying that it's scaling. Then even if it all actually does, if they somehow they like make these breakthroughs, there's still like credible upgrade paths for Bitcoin, multiple credible upgrade paths for Bitcoin. And anyway, this guy said he's basically nearly certain that we will not see a quantum break of elliptic curves in the next decade. And I recommend listening to the episode. It all made a lot of sense to me. I'd like I also read on the other side like Nick Carter's 10,000 word treatise on the
Yeah,
topic,
two-part.
And I don't know, this guy Reardon, he is a Bitcoin developer, and seems like a smart dude. I don't know. I think it's gonna fade. All right,
So
that's it.
let me ask you a question, just to kind of pin you down on the prediction. Do you think the FUD, so the narrative, is going to fade? Basically, is that it?
Yes, because people will realize that actually it's not really a threat.
Okay, so I think there's another. I agree that the FUD will fade, but I think it'll fade because what Carter and those quantum people are trying to do is just get people aware and like have this on their like radar for, we need to address this. And I think they will, that mission has been and will be successful this year, and it'll fade because people will be looking at it, and it'll be like
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
so it'll
Yeah,
fade,
it's not going to
it'll fade because
snowball
it'll be
into
like,
a panic.
yeah, it's a mission accomplished kind of thing, right? Like,
Mission accomplished, and the threat probably isn't really serious. The combination of those two things will mean that we've sort of got it in the bag, and you don't have to worry about quantum FUD
well,
anymore.
I think it'll be like, I think you'll have like actual like companies and developers who are going to be working on this, and so it'll be like y- when you have people like Vitalik. Remember at the end of last year, Q4
Yeah,
2025, he even talked about it. He's like, "Yep, this is something. It has to be on Ethereum's roadmap. We're taking it
yeah,
seriously." So
yeah,
I don't
but
know. It
yeah, I don't
again,
know.
it's
I
preparation
th-
though. That's what I think that's what I think
yeah, I, th-
Carter's FUD
I th-
is getting
exactly,
these.
and I think on the Vitalik note, I think he took note of the criticisms from 2024 and 2025, and he is trying to be more proactive now, and that's an example of it.
Okay. All right.
So
So, all right. My first prediction, speaking of Vitalik, it kind of concerns him, is that ETH narratively outperforms Solana this year, and the Sol ETH chart. If you look at the Sol ETH chart, it reached an all-time high last year. The Sol ETH all-time high is never tested. It doesn't even get close to being tested. I doubt it'll even get to like 0.07 or 0.065. So I think ETH comparatively outperforms Solana um, in 2026 because for a number of reasons. But basically, ETH has been like just manhandled, and rightly so, for like the past 2 years, probably more. But before last year's prediction episode was 33. I also briefly went through episode 32, and the hook for 32 is who was the biggest loser of 2024? Ethereum, and everyone laughed and everyone agreed. So Ethereum was the biggest loser of 2024. We all agreed at that, and we laughed at stupid Ethereum and how crap it was. Ethereum also had a pretty terrible 2025. You could argue that it was the biggest loser of 2025, but I don't think it was the biggest loser because you could start to see the ship turn around at the end of 2025. Vitalik and company have been just beaten down so hard. They finally got the message. They're turning the ship around. I thought Vitalik's X posts in December were great. I thought he's finally taking on that leadership role again. Um, Ethereum is going in the right direction. On top of that, I think Solana is kind of in a difficult spot right now. Um, and a lot of people have talked about this, right? Like there are competitors for performant L1s, right? You have Monad, you have Hyperliquid. Um, and so this thesis that Solana has had is being challenged, and they could still be right, but they're gonna have to fend off these competitors now. Um, Meanwhile, Ethereum has been beaten down so hard. You have base looks like it's doing well. You have institutions have clearly favored Ethereum, and I think with along with some of my other predictions, institutions coming in more strongly into the space, they're going to prefer Ethereum. And so I and all of this means that Ethereum relative to Solana will do better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
What do you think?
yeah, that's an interesting prediction. I don't disagree, but I don't think it's going to massively outperform Solana. So it might do slightly better. I think in both cases, they're kind of they still have this massive problem, which is that usage of the network does not translate to value accrual of the token. So yeah, maybe Ethereum is going to get more usage than Solana, but does that even translate to value of the token? I don't think so, really. People say that, oh, like it doesn't, like it's all really matters is narrative. People think they're investing in this thing, but I don't think people are that dumb. I think they're going to realize eventually here that the the usage of the network is different from the token, the value of the token. Finally, they're going to realize that. Maybe I'm being naive, but that's what I think. I think
Making a
David,
note.
the
Hold on, I need to make a note right here. Hold on for the editors. 30 around 37. It's around 36:30. Graham says people aren't that dumb. Clip it. Biggest prediction, biggest prediction of the year. You're wrong on that for 100%.
people
Graham
aren't that
says
dumb.
people
Yeah.
aren't that dumb. Clip
So
it.
David, your prediction, you're just like pure black pilled. People are
No,
dumb.
no, 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 no.
Oh.
But come on, dude. We're talking about markets here. We're talking about 2025 fart coin. Fart coin was the future of finance. Um, and here you say 1 year later, people aren't that dumb. There's no way. No, I'll take the other
All
side of
right,
that.
fine. Okay, well, I think okay, whatever. Like what performs better, ETH or Sol? I don't. Yeah. Okay. But maybe the more interesting question, David, is what about Bitcoin dominance? Is that going to rise or drop? So my prediction actually is that Bitcoin dominance will rise, continue to rise. So currently we're at just under 60%. I think it'll be closer to 70% towards the end of the year. We're going to see a continuing grind higher in the Bitcoin dominance, i.e., like the percentage of the entire crypto market cap that Bitcoin constitutes. So
Wow.
basically, I think it's what I just said. Structurally, the rest of crypto is broken. Tokens uh, don't accrue value even if their networks are used. I think people will not be dumb and realize that. and
You'll lose every time
um,
on that thesis, buddy.
okay. Meanwhile, Bitcoin's product market fit is real. It's obvious. It's like increasingly known around the world, and I think like it and stable coins are the things that actually have for have product market fit in crypto. And like, okay, fine, Ethereum or prediction markets, yeah, those have product market fit, but they don't accrue value to the token. um so I don't think it's going to be like a euphoric year for crypto, and in such years, that's when you see like a crazy hype and value, and like yeah, the stupidity comes in, and people are like, oh, Ethereum's going to be changing my life. Uh, I don't think that's going to happen. So therefore, I think Bitcoin dominance is going to continue to sort of just grind up.
So you don't think it's going to be a euphoric year? Do you think it's going to be a negative year like 2025 was?
No, I think it'll be for. I think it'll be like Bitcoin will end the year higher than it is now, and uh, crypto will continue its march into mainstream adoption. But most of the value accrues to private businesses,
Hmm. I
not tokens.
I don't have a informed opinion on where Bitcoin dominance will end the year. But I will say this: I think Bitcoin dominance is going to go much lower at some point this year. I can see it going higher than now. I could see it getting to 65, 70. Like I've maintained this, right? I don't think we get an altcoin season. I don't think we get any kind of thing like that until Bitcoin dominance runs. And I don't, frankly, haven't seen it run very much. And the reason that it hasn't run is because 2025 was slightly down. Down, Bitcoin was down 6%. How can altcoins don't perform better when Bitcoin goes negative, right? So anyway, um, I do think though that I do think yeah. So I do think though that at some point this year, Bitcoin dominance will go substantially lower than it did in 2025. Yeah.
Why?
Okay. So that's it's one of my other predictions, which is 2025 was not a bull market for crypto. It wasn't, obviously. So, number one, that means the 4-year cycle is dead. So, if you look at the 4-year cycle, right, that was the third year. The third year was negative, right? The fourth year, this year is supposed to be negative. So, I think structurally that kind of means something is definitely different, right? If you look at a chart, a year chart, it's 1, 2, 3, green, 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 red, green, 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 red. This one was green, green, red. Now, what? What are we going to do? Green? And I think I agree with what I've been saying and what people like Arthur Hayes and whatnot have been saying since the middle of this year, which is the macro situation is looking like we're going to have just a massive amount of QE, massive amount of liquidity injection. So I love Michael Howe, and it scares the hell out of me that I don't line up with what he's saying, right? So that makes me think that I'm wrong, but at the same time, I'm just looking at like all the other stuff, and it does look like that we're going to have just a massive amount of liquidity injected into the market this year. I mean, look at the news that came out yesterday or while I was sleeping. Trump said he just went out and posted like I'm telling Freddie Mae, whatever, to buy MBS, mortgage-backed securities. That is like straight up 2020, 2008 style QE, right? Just like uh testosterone right into the base of the anyway, just max liquidity. That's QE. That's QE infinity. So if that kind of thing does happen, and that's being like articulated in January, what happens when he gets control of the Fed when Powell steps down? And if that kind of liquidity comes into the market like that, that's got to be good for um, risk assets like crypto. And I think you would see not only a massive catch up on Bitcoin, which had a bad year versus stocks and gold. But then when Bitcoin has its crazy run and that cools off, you're just going to see all that speculation just flow into the altcoin space, which is going to be, I think, absolutely beaten down during that time, right? So you'll see Bitcoin dominance rise, and then people are going to be like, okay, let's get into this whatever crap is there, and it'll just balloon like crazy briefly. You have like maybe a true alt season. So that's
Okay,
one of my
so
predictions.
David, you're saying liquidity is going to pump. They're going to print the money printer go burr. It's going to pump Bitcoin, and then eventually it's going to pump crypto. That's your prediction.
Uh, well, the second part is not part of my prediction. I mean, I think we're gonna have a proper bull market this year. Um, I now I'm hesitant to get into timings. Once Bitcoin stops running, I do think you're gonna get like a proper run. Once
Yeah.
Bitcoin stops running, then yes, whenever that is. If it's
Okay, and just to for the benefit of our listeners, so you mentioned Michael Howell. You said you love the guy. His framework is that the global liquidity cycle peaked in Q3 2025, and we are now entering a period where liquidity is draining from financial markets. Michael Howell, he speaks very confidently on this. He's got a tried and tested brain. If you like framework, if you listen to how he like tracks the global liquidity, it's like above and beyond any other method that like I don't know exactly how he does it, but he's got his methods, right? And so he is quite confident that liquidity has peaked, and so I'm inclined to trust him on that. David, he says it's might keep going with on the in the China side, but yeah, David, I do see your point. uh Trump is a wild card.
yeah. I mean,
Somehow
I,
he'll
yeah.
figure out how to turn on the money printer to win the elections.
I mean, just
Or I
look
guess
what.
that's the thesis, right?
Well, yeah, but also just like look what he's done so far in 2026. I mean, it's it's crazily impactful, right? So, um, this thing with Venezuela, now you have what's happening like right now in Iran. Um, so you're going to get this like again, and you get these people, you get macroeconomic people who are talking about this all last year. So you make sure oil stays low, right? Um, Low oil pretty much allows you to have low to keep a lid on inflation. Low
Which means
inflation
you can
means
lower rates.
which means you can lower rates. Uh, you have Trump saying things like corporations no longer can own single family homes. What effect does this have? This also helps to lower kind of the cost of living and lower rates. Maybe you get like deregulation in terms of building new houses and stuff like that, uh, which is stimulative for the economy. He's going out and the government is now like he's directing organs of government to just straight up go into the market and buy MBS, which was done like deep in the heart of these problem times. I don't know, man. That
Mortgaged backed securities.
mortgage-backed securities, yeah. So I and that's just the beginning. That's January. So what happens when the tone with Colombia changes, which apparently is happening? Uh, Things happening again differently in Mexico. Things are opening up in Canada in terms of like resources as well. All of this just seems also like some of the macro people I follow. You look at like the capex spending and AI is not slowing down. Doesn't look to be slowing down whatsoever. And they haven't really tapped uh, public debt markets very much at all now. I mean, I don't know. All of this just seems like wildly stimulative. Um, and I get what Howell said. I followed him for more than five. No, I followed him for yeah, more than 5 years now, 6 years. So I that's the other side of it, which makes me kind of question it. But again, and then crypto specifically, Graham, you have the things like crypto had a bad year last year, right? Like so it does seem like there should be catch up. Even if the liquidity is going down globally, which it could, you could still have a case where things are a little too hot in other markets and so then they flow into crypto. Why would they flow into crypto? Institutional adoption is happening. Morgan Stanley just this week was like the MSCI psych, we're not, we're keeping dots in the index. Oh, by the way, we're launching 3 crypto ETFs. Oh, by the way, we're going to launch a crypto wallet this week. Super
Yeah.
scammy, by the way. That seems super scammy of them. I mean, honestly, but so institutions are going to continue to pour in. That's going to accelerate. I don't know. All of this seems
Yeah.
to set up for a good time for crypto 2026.
Yeah. My gut feeling is that Bitcoin has got to mean revert in terms of its value of gold. So gold is pumped so massively. Eventually, Bitcoin's going to catch up. It's just like don't make it complicated, stupid. Like don't mid curve it. It's just it's gonna catch up. And when it does, it's gonna be like if it catches up to where it was before gold's run, we're gonna be north of $200,000 Bitcoin
Yeah.
pretty quickly.
And that's
Now,
it's
yeah,
gonna it's gonna over catch up though, right? It's not
exactly.
gonna just like
Yes, because it's very momentum driven asset, and people will feel the hype. Now, just on adding on to like what you're saying, right, about like for example, Bank of America just 4 days ago allowed officially started to allow its investment officers or its like rank and file guys to not just execute client requests, but to actually um, try to convince their clients to get Bitcoin allocations of between 1% and 4%. Bank of America, several other of these, big banks. We're talking like probably $10 trillion of assets um, that could, like, even if just 1% of that goes into Bitcoin, right? That's like $100 billion, right? And it's going to go into the ETF. So I think the ETFs is going to hit 250 billion of AUM. Again, right now we're at 120 billion, and if Bitcoin increases in price by 40%, you're already up to like 180 billion. So then you don't need like you'd need less than 100 billion more to get to 250 billion AUM. So I think we'll hit 250 billion AUM on the Bitcoin ETFs in 2026, and yeah, Bitcoin price will account for less than half of that. There's just going to be more flows into
yeah.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks to things like all these Bank of America and etc. The wealth advisors
Yeah.
finally getting their ducks in a row, and these are salespeople. They've got compliance now, and they're going to convince their clients because they make money.
Yeah. So I mean, I was looking back on all these predictions and how going into 2025 we had the perfect setup too, right? Like all this regulation, Trump was just elected, and if you look on paper and you didn't look at the price, you're like, "Oh my god, crypto must have had an amazing year. Look at all what happened in 2025. It was crazy." And it wasn't. So that's also tampering. I want to like I don't want to like get too crazily euphoric, but I don't think it's a crazy thing to say that Bitcoin will end the year positive in 2026, right?
Yeah,
Like,
David. I was thinking thinking about this prediction episode. My At first, my tendency was to be like, "Oh, like everything's going to be crap," and so actually, that I think is the key here, right? You probably want to predict the opposite of what your gut tells you. As we If we would have been more correct last year, right?
yeah,
Everything seemed obvious, right? Now it seems like everyone's bearish, so maybe the more accurate way is to predict that things will be
yeah,
rainbows and lollipops.
yeah. Well, I mean, I think there's going to be incredible volatility this year. So I think you could have Bitcoin and all these altcoins and everything do really, really, really well, but by the end of the year, be massively down from their all-time highs. Right? I think that's
Okay.
absolutely in the cards
Get ready to
because,
ride the wave
yeah, I mean,
and get out.
and yes, 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 or at least like take profits or something because it's. I think we're definitely, you know, we're not getting I think a lot of the price action or the growth could be ephemeral, right? Like
Yeah, well, David,
cotton
I think
candy.
I think like in all of markets now are just bubble riding. Everyone's just riding bubbles, one from one bubble. Everyone, I feel like that's what all investors have now devolved into. Besides um, the passive cuck investors or whatever. But like anyone who's like serious, it's just all like, okay, what's the bubble? Okay, I gotta move from this bubble to this bubble. And it's just that like it's time for the crypto bubble at some point. It's gonna happen.
I I agree. Yeah, it's that hot ball of money idea, right? Like the hot ball
Yeah.
of money moved out of crypto the entire 2025 basically. It was all in
Yeah.
AI, right? And for good reason. It makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense. Um,
Yeah.
I still think AI will probably get most of the attention in 2026. However, some sliver of that will come back to crypto, and crypto's kind of deflated so much with respect to AI that that will kind of juice the markets really, really well for crypto. So
Yeah. All right. Nice. Got any other predictions, David?
yeah, so my other big like so I wanted to give not lame predictions. And so my other prediction
Well, too
is
late.
no. So the other one is I'm going to steal this from like a couple people that I heard, but I really this resonates with me a lot. I think it's probably going to happen, which is this will be the year of M&A, right? Mergers and acquisitions. Um, and the meaning of this is oh no way. The meaning of this is basically like uh this is a basically a beta prediction to the institutions are coming, right? So the institutions they came in 2025, kind of. They announced that they were coming, but in 2026 they'll be here and they're going to start buying a bunch of crypto shit, right? They're going to start buying a shit ton of crypto companies, and I think it's going to become one of those kind of narrative fads of the year is M&A. I think at some point in this year, like we were talking about DATS last year, or maybe AI agentic stuff. We're gonna have like a 3 or 4 month thing where all we're talking about is like who's the next purchase from which
Yeah.
company, right? And I think that's gonna
Yeah.
be
You
a
could be
big
right.
like, and it'll kind of be a fad, but it'll also be it'll be like a trend over the next however long.
Yeah.
But this year it'll be like this thing where Morgan Stanley or whatever Chase or Bank of America, they're just going to start throwing money down and buying crypto
Yeah.
shit.
Exactly. One of the better prediction episodes that I listened to was with Nick Carter and Matt Walsh off, what's it called? Forget the name of it. Anyway, one of their predictions was that a bank will acquire a crypto custodian. So that one made a lot of sense to me, and it fits in with your prediction here, David, of the M&A. There being an M&A season.
There we go. M&A season. You heard it here first. There's going to be an M&A season. I'm going to be going to conferences, Graham. We're going to do like a run of conferences. And like last year it was like, is the 4-year cycle dead? What do you think about DATS? It'll be like, is this M&A thing still going on? Who's next? Right? And
Yeah.
that's going to be the thing, at least for a little bit. So
All
yeah.
right.
And then I have
What
a
else you
bunch of
got?
I've got okay. Let me do some easy predictions. These are the ones that are just stupid and almost not worth saying. Stable coins up only this year. Boom. We're going to be talking about stable coins this whole year. It's up only stable coins, narrative wise, market cap wise, product wise.
Yeah. Also from that On the Brink, it's called the podcast with Nick Carter and Matt Walsh. They said a consortium of banks will issue a stable coin
Yeah. So
in
we're
2026.
just gonna like if we were sick of talking about stable coins in 2025, it's gonna be worse in 2026. Let me put it that way. All right, so that's easy. Institutional adoption, right? That's gonna just continue everywhere. We're gonna be talking about that a lot. We're gonna have all these banks, and we're gonna have like scummy, shady, like crappy things like what Morgan Stanley just did. That kind of stuff is gonna happen all over the place. Um, by the way, that's a good reminder of how like you think crypto is just full of scams and like full of scammers and shady stuff. Like what they just did is just totally ridiculous, right? Last year, MS Morgan Stanley, the MSCI indexes, we're really thinking of delisting these DATs. You know, this is dangerous. We don't really like what they're doing. They did that for like a month or 2 months, 3 months. They announce it, and then in the same week, they're like, "Oh, by the way, we're launching ETFs and we're releasing a wallet." It's like, dude, f you, man, f you. That's totally. so transparently scam, right? It's got to be. Come on,
It's dirty. It's
dirty,
dirty.
dude, super dirty.
Yeah. By the way, David, I don't. I just a bit of a tangent here, but have you heard about this conspiracy theory that J.P. Morgan, um, like jacked the collateral needed for people who were holding MSCI on JP Morgan suddenly, which forced all those people to sell, which caused MSCI to to nosedive, which and then they went and bought it up at the lows. Did you hear this
I
theory?
haven't. I haven't. Where
It's
did where
it's
where
it's
did you hear it?
widely circulated in the Bitcoin conspiracy theory realm,
the,
specifically
the
the
maxi space.
the yeah, exactly. It's a TMCI. Forget the name of the podcast. It's a Bitcoin Maxi one. And they had a guy on there who was very convinced of this, and saying that basically the banks are it's one of their cards that their banks play to try to basically destroy Bitcoin slash MSTR's credibility.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
they've done this in the past apparently with other industries.
I honestly like. I tend to shy away from these kinds of things, but like just looking at MSCI's conduct and then like brazenly announcing this stuff in the same week is just kind of like too much in your face. I guess it's like that meme, right? It always has been, right? You're like, oh,
Yeah.
these banks are going on CNBC or MS, whatever, and saying like this is a good buy. Meanwhile, they've bought it all for like the past 2 months, right? Like not financial advice. So again, whatever, man. But anyway, institutional
It's
adoption.
the
We're going to see
yeah.
more of that. We're going to see more of that. We're going to see all these banks stealing our Bitcoin this year. They're going to be mass extracting crypto people to get them to sell their cheap bags. Anyway, that's easy. Also, third one, easy prediction: perp dexes. Perp dexes continue to eat into CEX liquidity, volume, IO, all that kind of stuff. Um, I don't think it'll be quite at the pace it was in 2024 and 2025, but I think you'll still see at the end of the year, um, it'll be a higher percentage. So that's easy. Okay, here's my dark horse prediction. The current like Claude Code obsession, right? That's been all over the timeline for the past like week, 2 weeks. That's gonna kind of fizzle out soon, right? We're gonna see that fizzle out soon.
What are you talking
But
about with prediction markets?
no, 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 no. You haven't been on X over the break, have you? Everybody's like Claude Code is the next coming of our Lord and Savior. Um, use Claude Code to vibe code applications easily and blah 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 blah. Everyone's using it. You had you
That's
even
been
had
happening
like
all year.
no, no,
That happened
dude.
all of last year.
It's
I guess I
accelerated.
was just early. I was just early to it, and I
Well,
started.
maybe,
Yeah.
but this is accelerated in the past like week and a half. Like everybody's
Oh,
talking
really?
about how. Anyway, I think that this is going to simmer down, um, dissipate. But what you'll see is kind of quietly by the end of the year. Here's a prediction. By the end of the year, we're going to have like a new crypto related or crypto adjacent app that gets a lot of attention, gets a lot of users, that's developed by like one or like a very small team of devs, first time devs. And it's gonna be like your pump.fun style thing, right? Like it'll be like a major app that gets a lot of attention. And it'll be like one of these kind of Claude code vibe coded deals. Um, I don't think it's gonna happen right now. Like I think the narrative is gonna die here in the first quarter, but then sometime during the year later, that'll happen. Maybe from me.
Right.
Maybe it'll be me.
It's not going to be you.
Uh,
It's not
that's
going to
all,
be me
that's
either,
that's
David.
all I got. What about you? Any other predictions? Easy or hard
Yeah.
mode?
not really. I mean, I think Robinhood is going to destroy, dominate relative to Coinbase. Coinbase will be just fine, but Robinhood will pull ahead, continue to pull ahead as the financial super app, and that is simply because um, it's a financial super app. While while Coinbase is a crypto app that's trying to be a financial super app. Well, so anyway, it's
No,
easy
I
for
agree.
Robinhood to like tack on crypto, much harder for crypto Coinbase to like be
Yeah.
everything else besides crypto.
I
So
I
yeah,
I think I agree 100%, but I also think though, honestly, I think Robinhood, they're just better at executing the tech than Coinbase. Everyone complains about how shit Coinbase is, right? Like
yeah,
the UI, the UX, all these like problems with like withdrawing and depositing. And when I talked with the friend of the show,
Vlad, yeah,
Vlad,
great aura. The man has a great aura.
the man has mega aura, dude. He's got mega aura. He's shareholder maxing. He's a shareholder maxer, right? Guy's a shareholder maxing.
Ironically, I think.
Ironically, but also actually doing it too. But honestly, I hadn't been paying attention to like the tech behind it. And in our brief conversation, I was like, "Oh, so you're gonna do this?" Like, we already have that. We already have that for
Yeah,
stocks. We haven't
yeah,
we haven't done it for crypto yet. But we've already had it. I was like, Jesus. So they've already have all this tech. They're way ahead. The UI UX is amazing. It's like world class.
they
I
bought
don't.
Bitstamp
Yeah, they bought Bitstamp. It's been
in
doing
June,
great.
right? So they got all these licenses, right?
Yeah,
So it's easy for them to like tack on crypto
yeah,
and
and
integrate it. Yeah,
they've got all this tech already. Like they
yeah,
basically already have tokenized stocks
yeah,
not
exactly,
on not on crypto rails. They did it
exactly.
without crypto rails. So then
Yeah,
using the same stack and just adding it to freaking whatever chain they want. I mean, I don't know. I think they're the clear winner. I think it's theirs to lose. And I don't
yeah,
see anyone unless they like really, really, really mess it up. I don't see anyone catching up with them. I don't.
agree,
So yeah, that's
agree.
it. When are they coming to Japan? Vlad,
Yeah,
Japan.
yeah,
When can I use Robinhood in Japan, homie?
yeah. I'm sure Vlad is still here an hour and 15 minutes into the pod. Obviously, he listens to every episode. He doesn't always make it to the end.
How do you say? Tenev san. Nihon wa do desu ka?
Yeah, David.
Bad
No.
Japanese. Oh god.
All right.
Whatever,
What else we
dude.
got? I think that,
You got the clip. You
yeah.
got the clip of the podcast 36. Aurelian, I see that you're listening. Aurelian 3630. He made a comment
Okay.
he was in the comments.
Okay. I ain't got time for that.
Other predictions. Here we go. Here's a couple predictions. Let's do a couple token narratives predictions, Graham.
Okay.
I think in 2026 we're gonna have at least
Breakout year.
wait, I'm gonna be more specific. I think in 2026 we're gonna have at least one piece of our pathetic content go viral. At least one thing, clip or something is gonna go viral. Yeah.
All right. Well, with that prediction, we're kind of running into the prediction markets conundrum because it's like I'm just gonna throw the dildo onto the
No, no,
onto
no,
the
no, no.
court.
No, but that's like no, that's like with athletes, right? Like predicting that you're gonna win is always okay, right? Like that should be that's like morally defensible. If you're an athlete, you should be able to bet that you're gonna win always. The problem is if you bet that you're gonna lose because you can throw the game, right? That's where you have
I
more
see.
control. Where you want if you want to say like
Yeah.
token narratives is gonna do worse this year than last year,
Oh, that's much easier to.
Well, you
to
can do that. You can
I
totally
could
like,
just stop
oh,
doing it.
yeah, you can stop doing it, or delay the content coming out, or ask this kind of thing. Delete the posts.
Yeah.
So yeah. Um and I'm going to, let's see, what's another prediction? We're
Wrench
gonna
attacks. Got any wrench attack predictions?
Oh God, yeah, up only. Wrench attacks up only. I
Wrench
think
attacks
they're
will be on the rise.
attacks will be on the rise. Hacks will be on the rise. Um, I think conferences are, as the youngins say, the conferences are cooked until we start to get euphoric. So I would predict that maybe by the late spring, summer, you could see um, conferences make a comeback. But until then, probably a little more low key. Be my guess.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I predict that
Okay.
you're gonna go traveling like 10 times this year. 10.
Okay. 10.
10.
All right. Let's do it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
No one's
Sometimes
watching,
they
dude.
let they
No
let
one's
me out of
watching.
my office here.
No one's watching. No one's watching.
Huh?
No love for the end of the podcast.
Okay, let's wrap it up, David. Uh let's I can't wait to do this episode again at the start of 2027 and see how many or any, if any, of these predictions we got right. I have a feeling we're going to be better. We're going to do better than last year, David. This is, second year doing it. We got a little more experience. I think I've managed to hedge some of my predictions such that the AI will treat me more nicely when I run the transcript through it next year.
All right, well, that's a meta game. There's two components there. There's the actual predictions itself, but then there's the language you use to better protect yourself against judgment.
All right, David, let's wrap it up. So, we'll see you next week for our weekly recap of the biggest news. And then, next week's Token
Happy
Narratives. We
New
might
Year.
be having a special guest. Looking forward to all that. Thanks as usual for your insights, David, and have a great week. Adios.